Larry's got a special guest today for the educational segment. Take it away.
So I'm very excited this week to have Genevieve Blouin on the show. She's a portfolio manager with her own firm called Altervest out of Montreal. And she specializes in covered calls. I'm very, very bullish on the covered call strategy as a way to enhance yield for people. There are ETFs out there. You're coming out with a fund in January, I understand.
Absolutely.
So excited about that. And maybe we're going to wrap this into an ETF. We'll see. Oh. It's a very exciting strategy. Listen, there's three things when we're doing covered calls that you got to focus on. The first thing is the time decay. You've got to understand what the theta is. Then there's volatility. You got to understand the movements in volatility and what that means. And two, you've got to do a little bit of timing potentially to get the maximum benefit from this strategy, because it's not easy to do on your own. So let's bring up the first graphic here. I want to talk about time decay, okay?
Right.
And Jan, I'm going to turn it over to you to explain as we go through time to maturity of the options, what happens.
All right, so the two most important variables when we look at Greeks for options is theta and vega. Theta refers to, the easiest way to understand actually is to compare it with a purchase of insurance. So when you buy an insurance for a short period of time, like when you go on vacation, it's really not expensive in terms of premium you pay. But if you purchase it for a longer time span, then it's more expensive. When we talk about vega, what we want to focus on, vega is the market's perception of risk of the underlying. So if volatility is very high, your premium insurance is going to go up, like if you have bypasses and you're
And this is where we see the VIX indicator spike up. It's the volatility in the option pricing that's doing that.
Absolutely. So when you're considering covered calls, you're the insurer. So you're the one selling premium, and you want to put as much premium as you can, as fast as possible in your pockets.
So what's the sweet spot for writing options?
All right, so the sweet spot we can see on the theta time decay curve, okay? Basically, over a span of 9 months, a longer term option, you can see that from 9 months to 6 months, you only lose 10% of your time premium, okay? So as an insurer, that's kind of a boring spot. If you move to 6 to 3 months, you lose 30% of the time decay. So that starts being interesting. But the sweet spot is from 3 to 0 months, because there you lose 60% of the premium. So that means you're making money fast and you're putting it in your pocket fast.
So for your strategies, you look out 2 or 3 months, and that's where you want to write your covered call strategies?
Absolutely. That's how we developed a model to have the greatest, we optimized it to have the greatest returns, and that's what we figured. We actually figured that the sweet spot is between 25 to 45 days.
25 to 45.
Yes, and so we can, instead of going for a leaps option and getting 100% of your premium, you do between those 25 to 45 days period 4 to 6 times a year, which at that point you end up with about 100 to 150% of the premium. So that's a great way to.
You specialize though in REITs, okay? Now REITs are generally higher yielding. Let's bring up the couple of tables we have here, because if you did this covered call strategy just on the TSX, for example, you're looking at just a dividend yield that comes off at 2.5% to 3% range. And if you do the covered call option overlay, you can get about 7-8%, pretty reasonable in terms of a total return there if you do a strategy like that. If you do that with a dividend focus, of course your yields off the dividends 4.5% range, and volatility there again gives you about 8 or 9% in terms of covered call strategy. I'll let you explain what you do on REITs here, because this is very interesting. The yield potential is significantly higher.
Okay, so as you know, REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. And by law, these investment trusts have to distribute 90% of their taxable income to shareholders in dividends. So by going into the REIT segment, you're getting more dividends. And the way we do it, as I've explained earlier, is that we look to sell covered call on the ETF, on the REIT ETF, North American REIT ETF, and then go seek a higher return between 100 and 150% of the premium. So basically, that's our model allows us, instead of getting 8 to 9%, to go up to 10 to 13%. The other thing that's very interesting about it is that we do not, we do not cap our stock pickings. We're looking for dividend yields of around 5% on the long part of the portfolio, but with significant appreciation potential. So the REITs we pick have between 10 to 25% of capital appreciation, but we don't cap their upside because we're not selling the covered calls on the specific stocks. We're selling it on the index. So then you have on top of that income return.
The index being the IYR REIT index in the US.
That's right.
That's a very interesting strategy. I like that. So you've got all the upside potential of the underlying REITs. The covered calls are being written against the broader index.
And
very interesting.
And people are interested in buying calls on the overall index?
Oh,
You
absolutely.
Get a decent premium?
Absolutely. And volatility on REITs compared to other stocks, higher or lower?
Recently, it's been a little bit higher because of the financial crisis. REITs have a lot of portion of their, they're involved a lot in refinancing and they have a lot of debt. So through the financial crisis, they've been abnormally high in volatility.
Okay, excellent.
Thanks very much to our guest, Genevieve Blouin.
Thank you for inviting me.
Larry, thanks to you.
Thanks to you.
Okay, we're out of here. Larry Berman, and Berman's Call is back here every Monday at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. Have a great week in the markets, everybody.